Hi, my name is Dave Vidmar, the president and founder of GlideCycle, and I'm here in this section of the video to orient you to the beta seat design. The beta seat design is our first really successful saddle assembly that allows the human body to be carried by the weight of its pelvis in this unique seat design. What's so different about it? Well, a normal seat, if you look at, will be flat to the ground, and your body would sit on it and allow your legs, to hang off the sides and to operate as on a regular bicycle. The GlideCycle seat is designed to sit with a high degree of tilt on the seat section, on the saddle section, which allows your body to hang from the ischial tuberosities or your butt bones, much like you were standing up against a table and talking with somebody. Now, if you were standing against that table and talking with somebody and lean forward, you're going to fall off. That's why the GlideCycle Saddle Assembly has a pad that is meant to connect with the pelvic bones in the front of your waist, and that prevents you from sliding off of the seat and down into the tube. Therein lies the uniqueness of this saddle system. Your legs are able to move freely without encumbrance while your body is suspended from the air. What a unique and novel design, and it really works. It takes a little bit to get accustomed to it, like it would to be accustomed to your new ski boots or your new rollerblade boots or any new sporting equipment. So allow yourself to do some due diligence and allow neuromuscular orientation to occur as you go through your first hour or two of riding. Now let's talk about the seat and saddle setup. As you pull it out of the bag, you'll find the pelvic post has an adjustable riser tube on it with a pin in the beta model. Pull the pin and establish your seat pelvic height here at about the sixth hole down. The sixth hole down seems to work for most people. If you're particularly short, you might want to go down one hole lower. Particularly big person, you might want to go one hole higher, but just start out with it in the sixth hole and everything will work. Why does that work so well? Because the saddle, the seat actually part of the saddle assembly is on a riser that allows it to travel upwards and downwards in relation to the pelvic pad itself. So as a heavier person, a larger person moves the seat back, that allows the saddle or the pad to rise higher on the pelvis. As a narrower person who's assumedly smaller moves the seat forward, as I am here, you can see the relationship has changed again. So most of the adjustment is in the rear saddle assembly. For most people, start out with the saddle assembly about in the middle, and that should work for an initial setup. If you find yourself falling through, we'll want to move it forward. If you find yourself extremely tight and your thighs are being compressed against the front of the pelvis pad as you run, then get off and we'll move this seat pad a little bit further back. But that's your initial introductory seat saddle assembly positioning. Sixth hole on the top, middle position on the seat. We're ready for stage two. Stage two is to take the saddle assembly and actually put it into the bike itself. Most people use the forward top strap in the second hole from the top. The next strap is simply and always one hole down. I like to keep these pretty close to each other. You can put them in different positions, but this is a real good starting position. If you're a particularly short person, go down one more set of holes. If you're a tall person, go up to the top set of the holes, and it'll work for most people. Then let's take the aft section. The top strap we call just the safety lanyard. It's not going to be in use. You never want any tension on this strap. You just want to hook it into a hole where it's going to be out of the way. It is your rear strap here that is the only control strap on the back, and for most people it's perfect in the second hole from the bottom. Why do we have all the extra holes, you say? Well, it's just so that we make our tubes interchangeable. We may change that design in the future, but it's working well for us now. So as an initial setup, this is a good beginning. Now we go to stage three of the setup. Stage three involves just simply standing next to the GlideCycle and running your hand across the front of the seat. Bringing that hand from the front of the seat straight up to the top of the GlideCycle, I see that it's positioned just slightly to the rear of the center. I really want it about 2/3 of the way back of the space of this operator's envelope here. Why is that? Because I want to place a good separation distance between my hips and the footrest to give myself a comfortable distance to operate the glider downhill. If you're a particularly short person, we may want to move more towards the middle. A particularly tall person a little further aft. Most people, again, 2/3 of the way back, even with the front of the seat. How do we achieve that? Once we see where it is, we simply grab the back strap and tug on it until we like the position. Yeah, that looks really good for me. Now, the next thing for setting up your seat for the first time is to simply drop, by lifting these strap release controls, drop the 2 straps in the front down really low and make it easy for yourself to get into the saddle assembly. To get into the seat, I'd like you to stand with your body to the left of the seat, with your right hand on the top of the bar, your left hand on the top of the pad. Simply walk to the side, to your right, allow the GlideCycle to come over your head until you can simply step over the saddle without falling, without tripping yourself. Hold the saddle upright, lift the GlideCycle back up, and you'll see the saddle assembly comes right up on me. Now I want you to sit down into the saddle assembly and wiggle your body. Having your brakes on with the pin locks is real good, your parking locks. And in this particular case, I'm finding that I feel a little tight. Why am I tight? You can see the ideal situation is when this pelvic pad rests, let me take my coat off a little, when this pad here rests exactly on the top part of these pelvic bones that are in the front of your pelvis. If it's too low in the case I am now, when I go to lift my leg, I'll be encumbered by the pad, so we don't want to do that. So the way to adjust that is not by adjusting the riser pad here, but simply leaving the seat back. So I'm going to pop off again, and holding the bike between my legs, just simply pull the seat back about an inch and see how that feels. Now I'm setting this to my body. You'll need to go through the same process for yourself until you find a good seat fit. That feels pretty good. A good seat fit, again, places the pelvis right up against the front pad, and the seat pad itself you're not really sitting on, but it's catching you on the back of your butt bones. Remember, like I said, you're standing against a table talking to somebody? That's the way you want this to feel. Now, that establishes at least an initial good position for the GlideCycle seat fit. As you run down the road, you may want to change that fit. You may want to work with it a little bit. I certainly do constantly until I get just the right fit. Once the saddle assembly is fit for you, you'll be able to use it day after day. If you're sharing a saddle assembly with other people, you might want to make a mark on it or note the position if you have one of the gliders with a scribed set of marks on the seat. The next stage is to set up your body height. To do that, an ideal position is with slightly bent knees. My knees are exaggeratedly bent here. There's nothing wrong with this. You can run like this, and it actually provides quite a workout for the hamstrings if you can imagine yourself pulling yourself across the room in an office chair. It's a lot of work, but it really builds up the hamstrings and the glutes. I want to go for a normal ride, though, so I'm going to enter what we call the general cruising position. I do that by standing up, holding the GlideCycle up on my toes with my feet together, and then simply pulling up on the strap until I feel the saddle assembly come right up onto myself. Then I set my feet flat on the ground again and simply look, do I have a nice comfortable knee bend? Yes. Now the next step to setting the saddle is, oh boy, look, I'm leaning back too far. Why is that? The pelvic riser is tilted back and there's no pressure on the forward strap. What we want in a normal, comfortable position is to establish your knee bend and then pull the riser forward on this until it stands fairly vertical. Then check yourself. The knee bend is okay. I'd like a little less. I'm going to jump up higher, give it a little tug. Of course, I'm falling back again. I'll pull on the front riser until it's vertical, and now I feel very comfortable. I actually can go off and run on this GlideCycle. My leg is unencumbered, it is not hitting the pad, and I'm not so firmly on the seat that it feels uncomfortable. Now, some of you may achieve a position in the seat now where you feel like, gee, I'm really falling through and my crotch is hitting down on the metal. Well, you shouldn't have that at all. If that's happening, there's two possibilities. The first is that your seat is back too far and you're sliding through. The second is well, maybe you've pulled this adjustment a little high. So why not just grab your back strap, give it a little tug. Oops, there it is. Give it a little tug and let a little material out. You see what happens is I've just flattened the seat. It was lifted like this, now I've flattened it. So my body's flatter against the ground. Of course, my knee bend is a little more excessive, so I'll place my parking brakes on again to make an adjustment, pull up a little on the lower strap, set my vertical riser straight again, and now there I am. I'm a little flatter on the seat, and I'm more comfortable. Why would we have these various settings? Well, a short run, sitting around at Disneyland, spending a lot of time in the GlideCycle, talking to people at a county fair, I might want a pretty flat seat. But when I really get out there and run, and I'm pumping out the miles, I'm going to pull that strap back up, lower the front end a little bit, and get a good lean on myself. Oops, a little too much. Get a good lean on myself so that I can really run and pump. Sometimes when you're operating the GlideCycle, after a period of time, you'll find the rear strap might start letting itself out. Or just by going through a series of adjustments, making yourself comfortable, you'll continue to walk yourself forward until, gosh, when all of a sudden you're here at the bar in front of your face. Don't worry about it. Get off your bike, lower the two front straps, pull the back strap, set your seat to 2/3 back, or the position that you really like it so that your feet are comfortably up against the footrest, and reset your front strap to be comfortable, and you'll be fine. But you will find that this is a dynamic relationship you have with the seat. It's going to be constantly changing. You'll constantly be moving it around. If you get a little uncomfortable, go ahead and intentionally change the position of the seat and change the loads on your body. Occasionally your butt might feel like, sort of like you feel when you're having a glass of wine and some bread and cheese on a rock by the coast with your girlfriend. You get in that really comfortable position, you like it for a long time, and then it's not so comfortable anymore. You have to shift, but you really don't want to because you're running and having a good time. Take the time, put in a shift, just change things around, pull this back strap up a little, lower the front straps, put the loads in a little bit of a different area on your body, and you'll be able to do the next 5 miles before you start having trouble, or the next mile or 2, however it works out for you. For a deeper and more thorough understanding of how to use the GlideCycle saddle assembly as you encounter various terrain changes like uphill, gradual uphill, steep uphill, downhill, and general cruising and running around, refer to your manual. There's a great explanation in there about how to approach the terrain with your saddle assembly and how to use your saddle assembly as a transmission for your body. Also, there are some really good videos on the login site on the web and on the DVD that you were sent with your GlideCycle. Please look into these beta version videos, as they will really help fill out what we're trying to accomplish with you here today. Is there a perfect setting for the GlideCycle seat and saddle assembly? No. It's all about comfort. Set it to yourself. Do your due diligence. This is my GlideCycle. I set it up for myself. I make it work for me. Take the time to make it work for you. You see the people on the videos? They're putting in miles. They're changing their lives. This can happen to you too. I'm Dave Vidmar. Thank you for joining us for this initial setup of the Beta Saddle Assembly. Thank you.